All right, part two and part five of Townsend is your learning activity one for week two. So, just in summary, I have like 8 pages. I'm not going to read all of them because this would be a ridiculously long video. But just some points, and I'm probably not going to take this many notes next time, which is nice to know because this took me like literally all day to do. Yeah, excited to walk through this with you guys. Uh, Part two talks about the second family concept of um, getting into groups and re-experiencing what God wanted us to originally experience in close community. Um, so it's basically getting what was messed up the first time around right. So a lot of people, when they come into a group, will have a lot of immaturity and needs. Make sure that you don't look at that as resistance, but be just inquisitive and curious about what that is, because it could just be anxiety, and they just kind of need to orient to how to do good group work. Um, Chapter 6 is connection. Talks about what builds connection. Um, so people aren't getting this anywhere else is probably my main takeaway from that. Early on in your careers, you will say, I don't know if I helped anyone today. And I have found it helpful to say to myself after I say that is that actually they're not getting this anywhere else unless they have a mom who is enmeshed and is fully present, and that's not healthy anyway. So they're not getting this anywhere else where someone is fully present to them and their needs, especially in a group format. Sorry about the mom joke. Anyway, so chapter 7 is discipline and structure. So the frame, as you know, is very important. And so they actually point out some things that were new to me, or just didn't make the connections. But all the parts of the frame are what you can expect in the session. So we are the protectors of the process, in essence. And so that we do vulnerability in our group, that we do feedback in our group, that we do confrontation in our group. Those are all parts of the frame. And as you protect the process, then that will bring the growth. All right. And we are on to all right. So then chapter 8 is prayer. Decide if prayer has a place in your group. It doesn't in mine unless it's a church group. And even then I'm questioning why I'm doing it. A lot of times I've found that it's for anxiety reasons, but other people do it, and that's fine. I just don't. Accountability, chapter 9, talks about accountability. So true accountability is when people bring things up in group like I drank again, we always go to tell me why you drank, because that's where the true accountability comes in. Is you drank because you were alone. Okay, I'm going to hold you accountable to those parts also. And then chapter 10 is forgiveness. So grace equals weakness and inability. Forgiveness equals many failures. So without grace and forgiveness, there's no real truth that can be given. So we have to go after the good object before we go after the bad object. So we have to be fully present and inject with tons of grace before we can go after the bad object. So we don't go into areas like if somebody has a idealized dad, we don't go very quickly after the idealized dad. We just we create enough structure and grace that they will eventually go after the bad object of dad, that dad left and I'm no good. All right, and then so in order to help people reach out and encourage people to show parts of their lives that need healing, they give 6 tips. Dig deeper, push a bit, educate about forgiveness, create the atmosphere, and then experience grace and expect failures, or make failures an expected event. I go into those. I took a lot of notes on number 1, 2, 5, and 6. So I'll look at those a little bit closer. Then chapter 11, support and strengthening. Attending, validating, assisting reality, internalizing external structure, identification. Those are all ways to go after support and strengthening. So fully feeling into the other person's shoes. Confirm that the feelings are there and keeps them in the work. So the basic skills of attachment is what we're wanting to build in for support and strengthening. So that's why I'll sit in the attuning stuff most of the time, because as the safety grows and as I teach them to confront, it just works real nice together. So, and I only jump in once they start backing down from a subject. If they back off of a subject, then I jump in. So then chapter 12 is mentoring. I honestly didn't know why they had this in the middle of this section, so that's kind of cool. Like I didn't see the connection, so just so you know, it's okay to have those feelings. Involves the whole person, so how we got into the situation, past patterns, other influence, weakness and strengths, use, and you'll have a list to go off of from intake. So mentoring is three qualities. Three qualifiers. Okay, so basically, what they're talking about is that as you are mentoring others, then they'll mentor you in the group process. Is what I could take out of it. So grieving invites sadness, confused, and angry emotions. So teach them how to do the skills of integration work, essentially. So valuing what's no more, saying goodbye, forgive the canceled debts, and replace, don't idealize that person or situation that was lost. So grief work is huge. Always get them to say goodbye. That's number one thing. So, and then chapter 14 is healing. So talking about the group as healing. So when we have sadness, it's a call for people to come closer. So there's a book by Desmond Morris that talks about, called The Naked Ape. It talks about apes in the wild, and when there was sadness, all the apes would get closer. They would rub the tear off the ape's eyes or cheek, and they would lick it to take it in. So just kind of to symbolize the closeness. So don't try that in group, but that has been done in group, and I'll tell you more if you want to know. Chapter 15 is confrontation. So an integrated approach, the Townsend model, the 8-step model. If you don't know that, let me know. I will get you access to that, but it's essentially how to have difficult conversations book that he has. Then modeling. So cool example of normalizing confrontation and the Children's Hospital, where Townsend worked at the Children's Hospital as he was in internship, I think. And at the end of the day, they would talk about the highs and lows of their experience for the day. So I think that's why they do affirmations and challenges in a lot of their groups, is that it normalizes that experience. But I definitely get them to do that early on. Whenever the safety is developed, I'll just notice their facial expressions, kind of like we practiced. That is the most non-invasive way of doing confrontation. So I'll say things like, so I noticed as Jim was talking, you had kind of a frowning look on your face, and I'm wondering if you could